This is a ZG1 only video, and I hope you guys watch this thoughtfully. I wanted to run over some formation concepts that will hopefully lessen our disadvantage against enemy fighters when we are in Yabos or in 110s or IL-2s or anything with effective forward firing armament like a Henshaw 129. This will not work with Ju-88s, Heinkel 111. It will not work that great with aircraft with mediocre forward firing guns like the Stuka or the PE-2. One thing that has really made an impression on me on all these swarm flights with Cinerox is how easy it is to watch the other Rot 6 when you're flying a finger 4 loose formation. And it made me wonder, why the fuck are we flying so close together in 110s or Yabos? Because when an enemy enters the picture, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Personally, I don't know whether to start evading or look for the motherfucker, because normally at the beginning of that encounter, I don't know where he's at. Take a look at this JG52 manual diagram here and see how each aircraft has specified scanning assignments by area. In ground attack aircraft capable of putting up a fight, this is what I think we should be doing. In this example of two rotes, 400 to 500 meters between rotes and 150 to 200 meters between aircraft, we can adjust this out to any distance that works once we try it out, but we should be able to cover each other's sixes just fine. For larger formations like this 3-road example, the same principle is easily applied. For single pass attacks, we can pull the formation in tight just before the attack dive, as long as the flight lead slows down enough to make that happen. And I know the other night, fucking Tempest dropped on us right at the moment we pulled in tight, which suck, but those situations are just going to happen from time to time, and there's not much we can do about that. Now I want to talk about actions we can take when an enemy fighter enters the picture, and since I see us flying with escort most of the time from now on, I am making the assumption that an escort element is present in this scenario. Now, Cinerox plays pretty loose with proximity, and the bottom line is we're probably going to have to deal with the problem on our own for the first 20 to 30 seconds before fighters arrive on the scene. Whatever way this starts, whether by gunner warning, visual, or fucking tracers going past your windscreen, the alerted pilot needs to say, Rot 2 has a 6, or Rot 3 has a 6, whoever you are. That will tell the flight lead, your Rot leader, and the rest of the formation where it's coming from. The Rot leader immediately tells his wingman to either bank toward the rest of the formation with him, or to split, or to execute a cross split. For this example, we see the Rot leader told his wingman to bank left with him toward the rest of the formation. At the same time the engaged Rot is performing this action, the rest of the formation, whether it is 1 Rot or 3 Rots or 4 Rots, all turn toward the direction of the engaged Rot and get a fix on the enemy aircraft. Now what happens next depends on the number of enemy aircraft and the actions taken by the enemy aircraft involved. If it's Boomer and Zoomer, you do not need to try to follow him in a climb, because the fighter should already be lining up on him as he leaves our formation area. If the enemy fighter or fighters choose to lock onto somebody's 6 and turn fight, then it is game on, and we fight as aggressively as possible until the fighters come in and get a handle on the situation. Now these turn fight situations can generate into a shit show pretty quick, but wingmen, as much as possible, should try to stick to their Rot leader unless they're directly threatened themselves or have a shot lined up on somebody that their Rot leader can't hit. So this is just the choreographed first 2 steps of a dance that can play out many different ways, but if everyone can execute those first 2 steps effectively, we are off to a better start than everybody being not sure what to do. This procedure puts some responsibility on the engaged Rot leader to quickly and effectively react to contact, instead of everything falling on the flight lead, who may or may not have a complete grasp of the situation at that moment. Now the next issue in scenario is whether or when to release bombs, and I see that decision at 3 levels. As an individual pilot, if you're taking hard hits or being pursued aggressively by an enemy fighter, the decision to release or retain bombs is at your discretion. You are aware of your own situation better than anyone else. As a Rot leader, if your Rot is under significant threat and you see the bombs as an obstacle preventing effective response to the situation, you have discretion to order your Rot to release bombs. And finally, as a flight leader, if the fighter escort is overwhelmed or is not responding directly to the current situation of the ground attack element and things are getting out of hand, and that development can be either communicated by the escort flight lead or through your own visual observation of the situation, you can order the entire group to ditch bombs at your discretion. In the aftermath of an enemy encounter, as we dust ourselves off and take stock of who still has bombs, being bombless is not the fucking end of the world. Most of the targets we hit in Combat Box or TAW have soft targets. You may only scarf a single AAA vehicle in a one-pass attack, but for multi-pass, shit, I've often gotten more ground kills strafing than I did with bombs. And I believe we can easily improvise our approach to the target accordingly by positioning people with and without bombs according to the attack and the target area type. So this is just a start to handling the issues of enemy fighter encounters and bomb retention or discarding. It's not necessarily the end state, but it's definitely a starting point. Let me know what you guys think.